Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Many people have seen the video of Professor Lakmo Madoku and the ill treatment he received at the hands of the regime, the ZANU-PF regime. They were shocked and they're absolutely right in condemning the sheer barbarism of it all. To those who haven't seen the video, I'll just play it.
NCA leadership from across the country, and we were at our head office. We wanted them to start our meeting to look at the Constitutional Amendment number 3 and to confirm our stance that we are opposed to it, that we will do everything to stop it. So when we were waiting for most of our people to come, and then that's why some people come in. Check. Let the doctor. Let the doctor. Let the doctor. So there's a chair. Correct. Ndandasikia about it. Then the police, it was there for most of the time. But then just about 5 or so guys just came in with the balaclavas and so on, and then ordered everyone to leave. And then they came straight for me and started beating me up, shouting, "With you want to create problems for us," and so forth. And then that's what they did. They were beating me all over. We don't know them. Who came with this people? The police were with them. Are you very certain that this is the police? There were 2 police vehicles there, but the police said nothing. They just seated there. How are you feeling now? I just have pain all over, but I'm okay. What was used to sound? It was baton sticks. And then that's right. What were they saying? They were saying, "Udautinetsa. Udautinetsa." That's what they kept coming. They couldn't have done that. No, they were not going to do that. And what happened to you? What? Oh, they were thoroughly beaten. They took my phone, they destroyed my glasses, as you can see, and everything. Yeah. We had called the consultative meeting of the.
We used to complain about the whites' colonial oppression, the way the whites abused blacks as if we were third-class citizens. We're not really humans at all. But when you start saying these things, this is now black on black violence. And this is not the first time it has happened. We know it has happened with other opposition leaders and ordinary people. It is heartbreaking. we really have to grow up and end this barbarism. But here we are. We are being dragged back to the days of the white colonial oppression. It is frustrating. There cannot be any doubt about it. It really is frustrating. But that's where we are. But I would like to emphasize, however, that people should understand what is really going on here. In my view, this is just history repeating itself so far as ZANU-PF is concerned. ZANU-PF has used wanton violence as part and parcel of its political activity. Many people will remember the farm invasions and the wanton violence that followed it. What is interesting there is that the farm invasion and the wanton violence always flared up before the elections, throughout the elections, and then would die down soon after the election, only to come up again as the next cycle of elections comes up. The pattern was unmistakable. In other words, the farm invasion was a way by the regime of hiding what it was doing during the elections. Here is a video reminding us all of what was happening in some of these farm invasions.
During the months ahead, chaos would gather pace as people from the cities came out and grabbed plots, and party chiefs took over whole farms, lock, stock, and barrel.
We have not come here because we have abused each other. We have not come here. He has not abused each other. We are explaining to each other the method of settlement of land. We have been settled on these kinds of lands which we call commercial lands.
That's right.
You people were settled on what they call communal land. Understanding, I have no legal instrument to allow you people to take the land. I cannot give you that.
No, we are taking it.
But I am not giving you permission. That is up to you.
Yeah, we are taking it. We are taking it.
That is not, I cannot stop.
Yeah.
We are saying,
Nico, we defeated the Smith in the bush where he was the source. We are going to defeat you.
What happened there was that the farm invasion and the gratuitous violence that followed was meant to draw attention away from what ZANU-PF was doing in terms of elections. ZANU-PF did not want the spotlight to fall on its failure to hold free, fair, and credible elections. So it had to find another issue to draw attention away from that issue of the elections. This is why the invasion flared up, ran up to the elections. And the wanton violence, the volume was increased until the farm invasion became the dominant issue of the day, period. And it managed to do that again and again and again. What we are seeing here with this amendment number 3 is just a repeat of the ZANU-PF modus operandi. After the 2023 elections, it was clear that ZANU-PF had rigged those elections. Both SADC and the AU election observers condemned those elections as flawed. These are our own regional body and our own continental body who condemned those election processes. Mnangagwa was stung by that report. But in typical ZANU-PF tyrannical mentality, he dismissed the condemnation and even called both the SADC and the AU election observers our own detractors.
Vana vakatuka ZANU-PF kana ini ndonyanyisa kufara kuita zvakanaka. Ukavona vavengi vako vachikurumbidza nenge uchikanganisa, ukavona vachiti ZANU-PF yakaipa, farai. You are doing correct things for your country. Hongu takaita maelections edu kuna vamwe vaitaura zvisina musoro zvikanzi maelection anofamba zvakanaka ndezvavo.
Since the 2023 elections, in fact, within a few weeks of him coming out with that statement, the nation found itself being told that he wants to extend his stay in office beyond the mandatory 2028. That's when ED 2030 agenda was launched. It hardly served a few months of his 5-year term. Why would he be talking of extending it already? The reason for it, he wanted to draw attention away from the fact that he had rigged those elections, the 2023 elections, and therefore he was illegitimate. And it worked. And now, as the nation moves on, he wants the issue to remain firmly on the national agenda. And so he has come up with this amendment, and now he is using wanton violence to make sure that the nation is completely now focused on amendment number 3. Meanwhile, the biggest issue that the nation should be actually be involved in with right now was, first of all, soon after the 2023 elections, making it abundantly clear that Mnangagwa was illegitimate. And number two, to make sure that we do not keep on repeating the same mistake of failure to implement reforms and we have rigged elections. But he doesn't want you to discuss those things. So he's now focusing on this amendment. And many people have fallen into that trap. They now firmly believe that the fight for Zimbabwe's democracy and the nation itself is about fighting to stop this amendment number 3. Here is one of the individuals involved, Tendai Biti. Many of you would be familiar with him.
Hence, most worrying. This regime, having proclaimed and publicized and gazetted Amendment number 3 of 2026 on the 16th of February 2026, cannot stop Zimbabweans from meeting to debate this heinous, toxic constitutional amendment. And it's ironic and hypocritical that the same regime and its ruling party is actually having consultative meetings, including a Politburo, to discuss this heinous bill. We also find it unacceptable that the regime has unleashed a violence and toxicity against all alternative opinion. We condemn, for instance, the assault on 2 members of the National Constitutional Assembly, led by Professor Lavmo Maduku, that took place yesterday after a meeting of the NCA. We think that the government of the day and the regime has declared a de facto state of emergency, has declared a de facto zone of no authority when it comes to debating this bill. But I want to assure Zimbabweans that we, as in the CDF, we are not stopping. Hence, most worrying.
A state of emergency. If there was ever a need to declare a state of emergency, the nation would not declare it over the amendment number 3. It will declare it over the country's failure to hold free, fair, and credible elections. Whether or not amendment number 3 sails through, if we do not implement the democratic reforms, ZANU-PF will rig the next elections and thus perpetuate the dictatorship. The country's number 1 problem is the failure to hold free, fair, and credible elections for 46 years and counting that have perpetuated the dictatorship. ZANU-PF has rigged the elections these last 46 years. It did not need the extra powers that they are now seeking through amendment number 3. But it has thrown it on the political agenda in the ring for the purposes of drawing attention away from the real big issue of failure to hold free, fair, and credible elections. Like I said, this is not different from what ZANU-PF did during the farm invasion, the Njambanja farm invasion. The violence in the farm invasion would always overshadow the blatant vote rigging that was taking place in the whole country. And sometimes that violence will spill over into the rural areas. In the name of stopping farm invasion. The rural people will be accused of supporting the opposition, who are the main supporters of stopping the land invasion, the farm invasion. The opposition were accused of siding with white farmers. It was just a cover-up, just an excuse. People fell for it throughout 2000 to about 2015, when there were no more white farms to invade. We fell for it then. We should not fall for it again now. I repeat, this amendment, number 3, is a decoy. Zimbabwe would not change in any meaningful way politically, whether we succeed in stopping amendment number 3 going through or it goes through. Because all it's doing is giving the regime additional dictatorial powers. They already have enough dictatorial powers to rig the elections, which is the most important thing. How do I know that? Because they have rigged elections in the past. And they didn't have amendment number 3. It is hard to see why people like Tendai Biti are falling for it. It should be remembered that people like Tendai Biti were in the 2008 to 2013 GNU, whose primary purpose was to implement the democratic reforms. They failed to implement even one token reform. And ever since the GNU debacle, they participated in flawed elections, knowing fully well that the process is flawed, out of greed. So it should not be surprising that people like him have fallen for this decoy. They just want to give the people of Zimbabwe the impression that they are still the champions of the people, of powerful. They're still fighting in the people's corner. When in reality, MDC leaders and Triple C leaders are ZANU-PF Team B in all but name. They've been playing for Team A to win and for Team A to have legitimacy. It's just that we, the ordinary people, have been slow in picking that up. We should tell people like Tendai Biti, forget about amendment number 3. Focus on making sure the next elections are free, fair, and credible. If they are not, that we do not participate to give ZANU-PF legitimacy. Tendai Biti participated in the 2018 elections, knowing fully well the process is flawed, out of greed. He desperately wanted to participate in the 2023 elections. He was only outmaneuvered and lost the seat he was aspiring for in Harare to another Triple C leader. He knew the 2023 elections were flawed, that ZANU-PF was rigging those elections. And I can rest assure you, he is itching to participate in the next elections, be they in 2028 or 2030. And by championing this fight to stop Amendment number 3, he sees it as his opportunity to get some attention, public attention, voter attention, to further his chances. Make no mistake about it. People like Tendai Biti have long sold out. I have often played this video clip of somebody explaining why a ZANU-PF cronies boasted that Mazwane MDC adzidza kudya Nyerere. When they were asked during the GNU why MDC leaders were not implementing even one token reform. ZANU-PF had bribed them, paid them varamrom. And here is part of what they received as payment to do nothing about reforms.
Bhazi rikafira musango, munhu asina kwaari kuenda mubhazi mumu anofara kuti ndo patopumba pake nditori nevamwe vangu pana. Munhu anorwadziwa nekurara musango munhu ane kumba.
Taibadana kumba kwangu.
Mana kumba kugombeza rangu riya. Mana so. But munhu asina imba atete kurara musango. So opposition inomeka sure kuti vanhu vaya vawane minda. But may he so rest in peace vatsvangirai. Prazi ravo vanga vainaro. Chamisa anaro.
Ane family.
Kana azoramba. Ndoenda newe.
Rikupi.
Ane fam.
Ribi.
I know madresse munhu anetsa kuti focha, but anaro. Chakudza off camera.
Okay.
Ane mine.
Ane
makaseo.
Yeah?
Yes. Biti. Ane prazi. Haunomboona here picture ya Biti achitenga mombe kuna Temba Mliswa. Tsekuisa kuprazi. One of the biggest beef producers in the Matabeleland region, the Washman Ngwe.
Okay.
Yes, ane prazi. Anautenga beneficiary land reform. But what they did is to discourage their people from acquiring my farms. Because why is out munhu akaona something chapiwa nehurumende achapikisa.
Are you for real, Mr. Gansha?
Nomubvunza Washman Ngwe kuti haasi kuita beef here, producer beef here paprasi. Tonyenda netsana upo chingono gore rere. Handiti kuti stand ya upo chingono standard ine painogumira. But vakatotaura nehurumende nemasabhuku ikaextendwa because aita god.
So I repeat, some of our opposition leaders who are championing this amendment number 3 are the same individuals who sold out during the GNU and have since been participating in flawed elections to perpetuate the dictatorship. So it should come as no surprise at all that they are playing along with ZANU-PF, they know that amendment number 3 is but a decoy. And they've taken it up and are running with it, knowing fully well that the real fight in Zimbabwe, if we want real serious change in Zimbabwe, is the fight to implement democratic reforms and end the case of rigged elections. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.